Welcome to Avocado's GuacTalks. Today we are here with Chris Green, an Avicado consultant. He works on the development team, and he's going to be telling us about common development terms that are used in the industry that you might not actually know what they do and what they mean. So to just jump right in and kick us off, Chris, what is an API?
An API is something that you'll come across throughout software. It's an application programming interface, and it's the mechanism by which you can tie into the internals of a piece of software from outside the software. You can think of it as a drive-through window at your restaurant.
Awesome. And how can it be used in the construction industry?
So in construction, you have a lot of data that is piled up in your CMS and your construction management software, and sometimes it's helpful to pull that data out for different types of analytics. And your CMS software may be able to have that external link of data that can come from an API.
That sounds like it could be really useful for a lot of people out there. So, what are some of the requirements for that?
It's mostly on the end of your software provider, what they offer. And once you have an external API, you are pretty much open to doing whatever your imagination can come up with.
And do you kind of have an example situation of, how that can be used?
Yeah, so a good sample situation is you have a accounting suite and you want to pull information from that accounting suite and put it into your CMS for invoices. The API for your accounting software allows you to pull invoices out of it. Your CMS has an API to allow you to enter information into your invoices there and mark them as paid.
Oh, that's very cool. All right, so let's jump into another term here. So what is ETL, and when would people run across this term?
So ETL stands for extract, transform, and load. And honestly, the situation that I just brought forward is an example of that. It's very common to see it. We are extracting data from for your accounting software, all that invoice information. We're transforming that information to add more inflections to it, to add a little bit more data. And then we're loading it back into another source, your CMS, and to turn on some paid invoices. So an ATL process just wraps around those three concepts of extracting, transforming data, and then loading it to another source.
Awesome. And to kind of tie it all together, what is a data warehouse?
So a data warehouse is a lot of things. The main thing to take away from it when someone says data warehouse is that it's a common location, a common resource of data that is commonly queryable. So what you might see is if you have your accounting software, you have your inventory software, you have your e-business kind of software, but you want to collect data from all of those different disparate locations and query them and build analytics off of them together, you need to have a centralized location to do that. Now, if all of your separate things have APIs for them publicly, then you're able to extract data from those different locations. You're able to transform them into data that you can look at commonly, and you can load them into a source like a Google BigQuery that can act as a warehouse to store and then query that data back out.
Centralized location, that definitely sounds pretty valuable. So, how can these be built?
It takes time and effort, but as long as your data is available via APIs, via other kind of links, and we can pull that data out to someplace centralized, then we can be well on our way to building a data warehouse.
Awesome. And what kind of data can be stored in these?
So the good part about this is anything. A data warehouse could encompass image data, video data, semi-structured data that's kind of out in the wild from industrial applications to normal JSON, XML, your databases. It could be across the range.
And I think you touched on this a little bit before, but what are some of the requirements for it?
It's mostly having access to your other systems and the API and that data that comes from those other systems. Once you have that access, you're able to create ETL jobs that then load data into a warehouse. And there are numerous software companies that offer the actual warehousing for different price ranges and for different use cases. But the main thing is having the ability to pull the data from your other software and bring it into a centralized location.
Awesome. And what is an example situation for a data warehouse?
Yeah. So I believe we mentioned it a little bit before, but if you have, say, your e-commerce solution, your accounting solution, and like an inventory management solution, you might want to be able to look at data from the time someone buys something through your e-commerce solution, pays for it through your accounting solution, and then gets it tracked through your inventory solution. And normally those things would all be siloed kind of separately, and you wouldn't be able to query across all of them. But if you are pulling data into a centralized warehouse from all of those different items, then you're able to query and do analytics on the data across those three areas.
Well, thank you so much, Chris. It's been great talking with you. I know I was able to learn a lot. I hope some of you out there were also able to learn from this video. And if you're interested in learning more about development terms or how these things can be applied to your organization, please reach out to us at hello@avicado.com, or you can fill out a form on avicado.com as well. Thanks.